Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back once again with the Impact Wrestling Report. What a pay-per-view. It was not a pay-per-view, but what a special it was. Uncaged. It was really good. I'm about to hop into all of that. We started with a banger on top of it. So feel free to hit that subscribe button if you like Impact Wrestling Reviews weekly. I'm about to hop right on into this Impact Wrestling Uncaged. Let's go. We started with Taya Valkyrie versus Tessa Blanchard, and Tessa Blanchard had on the old school blue jean look that people used to wear when they would get in the street fight. She had it on, and she had on the old school Four Horsemen shirt. How about that? She even threw up the Four Horsemen symbol as well. On a side note, there cannot be a Four Horsewomen if Tully Blanchard's daughter, who just so happens to be the best women's wrestler on the planet by far, is not in it. It is incomplete. That's just my opinion. So, Taya Valkyrie versus Tessa Blanchard, this one started hot, man. Tessa Blanchard was just like an uncaged animal, no pun intended, but that's what she was, all over Taya Valkyrie. I enjoyed every bit of it. It was all so well done. Her character is so believable, and we had a brawl to start, and we had a heck of a pan shot. Taya Valkyrie went for a tope through the ropes. Tessa Blanchard was just sitting there with a baking pan and just waylaid it over her head, or whatever that was at the time. She waylaid it over Taya Valkyrie's head, and the crowd was really into this one as Tessa Blanchard just laid it on Taya Valkyrie. We had a lot of great moments from this match. The spot where we had the back and forth slaps, the booyah slaps going back and forth, they're sitting in chairs and they're just chopping each other left and right, and our crowd is eating every single bit of it up. We had a moment in the match to where, look, the tables must be tired of us. They are tired of our wrestling stuff. They had a nice table set up in the corner, and Tessa Blanchard goes for a spear through the table, and it just does not give whatsoever. We had the moment they tried to bring out another table, and that one gave away. But the match would end as Taya Valkyrie would go for the double stump and pick up the victory. I gotta say, I really thought Tessa Blanchard would be winning here, but surprise, surprise, I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. This was a phenomenal match. The crowd was lit after this, and anything after this was gonna feel like a cool down match, and I'm gonna get into that as well. Great match by the ladies. They kicked it off really well. I enjoyed every single bit of it, and Tessa Blanchard winning with the double stump. That one came as a surprise. I've never seen her go with that one before. So after that, we had the GWN flashback. Y'all know I'm not a big fan of the flashback, but at the least, like I've been saying, they had a moment of people who are in Impact, who were recently in Impact, not something of guys like Kevin Nash or Sting or Mick Foley. So good job there at the least. So after that, we had Team Impact backstage, and they were talking, and we just had chaos amongst all the teammates. We had Eddie Edwards going at it with Eli Drake. Eli Drake told him to leave the kendo stick in the back, and chaos amongst all teammates as we built to Team Impact versus Team AAA. After that, we had Ethan Page versus Willie Mack. This match, and as I mentioned earlier, nothing to do with these guys, not even the fault of these guys. It just felt like a cool down match from the opening match, to which was a banger. The crowd was just into it, and it was just a tough time for the crowd to get up for another match right after that. So it felt like a cool down match. Ethan Page took control early, but the match really didn't pick up until Willie Mack got in control and pretty much ran wild with his offense. And he had a sick cannonball in the corner. I think he has the best cannonball in the game. That's just my opinion. The match would end as Willie Mack would hit the stunner for the win. And we'll see what happens with the further storyline, and I'll get into that later with Willie Mack. We'll see what happens with him in OVE. So after this, we had Killer Kross hyping up the match, the four-way match later on in the night. He talked about how he would annihilate Johnny Impact, in that everyone would pay the toll and he's not going away. So after this, we had Willie Mack come up. He goes into his locker room, and then OVE, they follow him into his locker room. I can only assume a beatdown happened after that. We'll see next week. So we had a lot of talking here in this little back-to-back segments here. We had after that, Team AAA, they were backstage. They were hyping up the World Cup. They were talking about winning it. They were talking, Psycho Clown was hyping up and promising a victory. And they were excited. They were ready to go for the big World Cup match. After this, Sami Callihan made his way into the ring. And he wasn't even here for the World Cup yet. But he wanted him some of Rich Swann. He told Rich Swann to get out here. He said it was about time that he accepted his shirt and that he wanted him to be a part of OVE. So Rich Swann came down and his answer was short and sweet. He threw the shirt into the crowd and he wasn't having any of it. And that led us into a fight, a brawl, a beatdown, which ended with Sami Callihan power driving Rich Swann on the stage, and he even threw him through a table. I mean, Rich Swann, he sold that. He did a somersault flip onto the table, which was like, man, that was sick. So I'm enjoying this story very much. Sami Callihan versus Rich Swann. It's only a matter of time before we get the title match, and I cannot wait because this first X Division story in quite some time that has got me very intrigued. And I know the match is going to be a complete banger, but we'll see how it all turns out when the championship match will be from here. So after that, we had Team AAA versus Team Impact, and this was just a crazy match. Just off the wall crazy. Like, I cannot even explain to you how many times I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm just trying to keep up with the match. So this started with pretty much everyone getting their stuff in. It was very entertaining. And I gotta say that Team AAA, they were making quick tags. They were getting their stuff in. And it made for a great start to the match. And the match just broke down quickly. Like out of nowhere, the match broke down. And I gotta say, we got some great action after that. So we came off commercial break from there, and all I can say from here is that we had multiple topes, and tope after tope after tope, and we had a spot to where Vikingo, he hit like a reverse 450 off of the top rope, which was one of the more sick topes I've ever seen, and I've seen Phoenix do some sick topes. That was one of the sickest ones I have ever seen. And Falaba was going in for a tope. That's when I was like, okay, now wait a minute, time out. Flag on a play, hold up, stop everything. And of course, Falaba doesn't go for the tope. He just gets to the ramp area and he jumps down. So the action was going back and forth. The crowd, more importantly, the crowd was very invested into it. Las Vegas, they did a phenomenal job the first night of these tapings, and I enjoyed them very, very much. So the first elimination was Puma King eliminating Eli Drake, and after that, we had Vikingo running wild with his offense, and after that, Vikingo, he didn't last for long because Falaba eliminated him. I didn't like Falaba's elimination, to be quite honest with you. Aerostar kind of rolled him up, and it was kind of lazy, but that's very nitpicky for me in this match because this match was phenomenal. I enjoyed pretty much all of it. It came down to Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. How about that for a tag team versus Puma and Psycho King? I enjoyed the fact that Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan, like, they played up the storyline. Like, we do not like each other. They kept it going. Storytelling. Like, I enjoy when we stick to the story that we have told before. They don't like each other, but they tried to coexist. So, Sami Callihan hit a pile driver toward the end of the match, and we had a breakdown with Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards, and I think it was Josh Matthews that said that Sami Callihan was trying to win the match because of his ego, but I'm here saying like, no, Sami Callihan's a legal man. He's trying to get the pin. Eddie Edwards was trying to get the pin. So at the end of the day, sure enough, comes down to Eddie Edwards and Puma King. Eli Drake comes out of nowhere and he nails Eddie Edwards with Kenny, and Puma King picks up the victory for Team AAA. It was a phenomenal match. I was actually hoping that Team AAA would pull it off because we have the partnership with Impact Wrestling and AAA. I thought this was a pretty good moment to let AAA let them win the World Cup. The last time they did it, Impact won it. So it would be nice to see AAA get the victory here, and they did get the victory here, and it was pretty much the best match of the night in my opinion. Although there were 3 really good matches. So I very much enjoyed this matchup, and I'm pretty sure, it was unanimous on Twitter that everybody enjoyed it. So after that, we had LAX backstage with a very angry Conan. He was mad. He said they lost because the Lucha Brothers were mad because Ortiz ran his mouth. And I'm just sitting there like, man, let him run his mouth. I want to see this get personal and angry. That's what I want to see. But it is what it is. Conan said that they will have one last match. He said that would be it because their family, he can't take it anymore. So look, I don't want to see this be the last match. Either I want to see a best of 7, I want to see a 2 out of 3 falls, or I want to see a 60-minute Iron Man match. One of those 3, give it to me. LAX, Lucha Brothers, let me see it. In the infamous words of Rick James, give it to me, baby. That's what I want to see. So after this, we got a vignette. It was Dark Alley and Su Yung. They were talking about Rosemary, and out of nowhere, Rosemary appeared in the background and she vanished. And neither Dark Alley or Su Yung saw her. And we build towards that again. I think they are taking a bit too long. I said this last week. I think they are taking a bit too long to build towards this. It kind of feels like Rosemary is starting to lose a little bit of luster. And on the opposite side, it kind of feels like the partnership of Dark Alley and Su Yung is not as powerful as it once was. When it first happened, everybody was excited for it. Everybody's still excited for it. It just seems like it's lost a bit of momentum. So I hope they get to whatever they're building to. I hope they get to it very soon. So we came back. Scarlett Bordeaux was talking about her in-ring debut, and she promised that Las Vegas would never be the same. I gotta say that I've been hearing that Scarlett Bordeaux can legitimately go in the ring. She is very talented inside the ring. I cannot wait to see her debut. I've been saying this for months now. Like, what are they gonna do with her? How she's gonna fit into the knockout storyline? I'm very interested, and I will definitely be checking it out. So after this, we had the Fatal 4-Way. The heavyweight title was on the line. Impact World Championship on the line. Johnny Impact versus Brian Cage versus Moose versus Killer Cross. And we started hot and heavy. Brian Cage had a sick tope over the top rope. And like he had a somersault tope, the dude cleared the top rope. He didn't even touch the top rope. That is so unfair. Brian Cage is just too big. A guy that big shouldn't be that nimble. Like, nobody else has a chance. No big guy. He is the most athletic big guy going in the game today. Very much the new age big man going in wrestling today. We had Moose and Killer Cross. They formed the temporary alliance, and you know how those things go in triple threat matches or 4-way matches. They always fall apart. So Moose went for a roll up. They tried to be friends again, but I think Killer Cross hit him with the Doomsday Saito, and that was it for that. So we had another fantastic spot in this match. Brian Cage hit the double German suplex on Killer Cross and Moose. That was a phenomenal spot, but the spot of the match for me that I really loved was the super kick party that we had going between all 4 men. The crowd really got into the match because of that. They really got into the match, loving that spot, not just because of it, excuse me. So as toward the end of the match, Johnny Cage, Lord have mercy. Brian Cage hit the drill car on Moose, and towards the end of the match, Johnny Impact went for the Starship Pain. He hit it on Moose, and as the ref is counting, Brian Cage will hit another drill claw to kill a cross. But as he went for his pin, the match was already over. Johnny Impact had already pinned Moose. And I gotta tell you, I really thought much like Tessa Blanchard, I really thought Brian Cage was winning here. The pay-per-view named after him. We had this big storyline that, you know what, we're building toward Brian Cage winning, and I thought it was gonna be here. But upon further thought, I don't really have a problem with Johnny Impact winning here because he really needed some type of victory. As I said, I think it was either last week or the week before, Johnny Impact was taking too many pinfall losses as the world champion of the world. Wins and losses do matter to me, especially when you're the world champion, and he was taking a lot of clean pinfall losses. And he really needed this victory here to get some momentum back, and I think he will get some momentum back. However, I think we still are on the road. With the way the match ended, I think we still are on the road to Brian Cage winning the title at whether that's the April pay-per-view or they push it out further past that, we'll see. But Brian Cage will be your future world champion someday. So, that is the Impact Wrestling Uncaged review. Let me know your thoughts on this matchup. Oh, I forgot one thing. How could I forget? And shout out to my man George Bryce that comments from time to time on here on YouTube. As I talked about the Desert Hit Squad last week, he talked about how that, you know what, the Desert Hit Squad grew on him. And, you know, he talked about how he gave him a chance and they grew on him. So I'm watching the Desert Hit Squad this week. And they're backstage, you know, everybody's coming backstage on Twitch. The Desert Hit Squad grabs the mic and they just start talking. It's no Gamasing there, it's just the Desert Hit Squad. They start talking about how people don't like them and they don't care. And they just, for about a good 2 minutes, both of them grabbed the mic. And who knew that the Desert Hit Squad could cut a phenomenal promo like they cut? All this time, I've been saying they need to beat down Gamasing. And they, to that point, they don't need Gamasing. These guys cut a phenomenal heel promo. Like, they need a motivation outside of "We Hate America." Well, they had it within 2 minutes on that promo. So if I'm giving some type of advice, like, I mean, Impact doesn't need my advice, but if I'm giving advice to Impact, I say let the guys talk more. Like, I never knew they had that in them, and if they let them talk more, they would get over as heels really fast. I enjoyed their promo, and it was the best backstage segment outside of the Sami Callihan segment. That was just inglorious television programming. But that is the review. Let me know your thoughts in the YouTube comments or on Twitter at OMGCorby or at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2 Sweet P-O-D.